All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Heal Your Skin from Within. I'm your host, Sabrina Schottenhamel, and today I have Valerie Ripperger and Samantha Dench here with me, and we're going to be talking about what you put in your body and what you put on your skin to be most radiant, to be confident, and also talk about your gut and how to heal your skin from within. So a few things that we're going to cover today. Just let's see, make sure that you are muted throughout this in case we have any background noise. And Valerie and Samantha, I forgot to ask you, are you sharing your screen at all today?
No.
Okay, so I don't have to make you a host. So we want to cover just some things that you're going to be putting on your skin, some factors that are outside of our reach, like the environmental factors, and also things that are going on within our body, like hormones, food, the products you use around your home, on your body, and of course things that you consume. So we are going to start with Samantha. I want to just introduce Samantha and have her tell a little bit about her background. And then I have a few questions to ask Samantha. And then let me make sure no one else is trying to get in. And then we will go to Valerie. Yes. Oh, Patty's coming in. There's Patty. Yay. Okay, so hi Patty, welcome. Yeah, you made it. Thank you. I don't think anyone else is trying to get in. Okay, so let me introduce Samantha Dench. Samantha Dench is a licensed esthetician. She's the owner of Skin Deep. She's also an author and a speaker. Samantha's passion stems beyond treating the skin to include internal health to achieve healthy skin for clients by finding the root of the problem. Skincare goes beyond the surface. Many women struggle when they look in the mirror and feel that they need to hide behind layers of makeup. Samantha helps women love their skin by sharing her knowledge and passion of skin. Samantha's goal for women is to take control of their skin. Welcome, Samantha. Tell us just a few things about yourself, and then we will dive into the questions that I have for you.
Thank you, Sabrina, for hosting this. I appreciate that, and I'm excited to be here tonight.
Yeah.
So I got my esthetician license in 2003 and started out in the medical field working in a med spa because when I finished school, microdermabrasion was like the treatment to do. And after a year or so, I realized I absolutely hated doing that. I hated the medical spa industry, and I ended up switching to a day spa, and the owner took me under her wing. She taught me everything she needed to know. And I remember working on this acne client years and years ago, and she kept saying, this kid, you can't help him, or we can't help him. He's got too much yeast in his body. And I remember that sat in the back of my brain. I could never think of like, how could yeast have anything to do with acne? Well, then fast forward to 2013, I had just had my third baby and had been exercising and eating right and doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And I could not drop the last of my baby weight. So a friend of mine suggested that I do a 2-week cleanse to get rid of all the inflammatory foods and just kind of heal my gut. And within 2 weeks, my adult acne cleared up. So before that, I had been suffering on and off from adult acne since 2006. And for the first time in 2 weeks, like within 2 weeks, my skin was completely clear. And so from then, I just decided that I was going to start learning more about how what we put into our body impacts the skin. And even with my acne clients or any client that comes in with an inflammatory skin problem, I always try and help them, guide them. I'll refer them out to doctors or like a naturopathic doctor or a functional medicine doctor. And I do treat them topically as well because it's a nice combination of in and out to get the skin clear. But that's a little background about how I got to where I am today.
Thank you. Yes. And if you don't know us, I know most of you on the call know us. Samantha and I are sisters. So we come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I'm a licensed massage therapist and speaker of simple self-care, and she has a business on skincare. So I'm going to jump right in and ask you a few questions, Samantha. How do you approach the skin differently than, say, another esthetician? So why would we come to you versus going to the Medi Spa or the Day Spa?
Well, first of all, I'm a solo entrepreneur, so I work one-on-one with my clients, and I can give them a lot more individualized attention, but also because I do have that understanding that our skin is the largest organ of the body. So everything we put inside our body will impact our surface and the skin. And it's, women are constantly on the rat race of searching for different products, and they're buying things that just aren't working, and they're damaging their skin, and they're creating holes in their skin, and that's getting into the bloodstream and just creating a host of problems. So I guess what makes me a little different is I have a holistic approach to skincare. Most people think of skincare as like a chemical peel or microdermabrasion or all these aggressive, or even microneedling now, all these aggressive treatments that are constantly attacking the skin and causing all this damage and harm. And my approach is, no, we need to be gentle to our skin. Our skin knows how to fix itself. We're damaging it, and we need to start giving it the right nutrients and the right products so that way it can start to self-heal and self-correct. So I use a variety of different products like peptides and treatments like microcurrent, and all of those play a big impact in healing the skin from the surface.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and since I use the products that Samantha recommends, and I also receive facials from her and the microcurrent treatments, and I love the peptides. I think they make your skin, my skin, I know it's made it a huge difference in my skin, just being more clear and radiant. That's how I feel. So thank you for that. And the next question I want to talk about is natural anti-aging tips and suggestions that you would have for ladies and even men. I know you mostly target ladies, but men are important as well.
Yeah. Well, you touched on it with the peptides. Peptides are basically, it's a chain of amino acids. So it's like putting protein on our skin. And what a peptide does is it gives the skin, and it teaches the cells how to self-correct and gives the cells the ability to start functioning like it did years ago. And again, another anti-aging treatment, microcurrent. Like that is one of the best treatments out there right now because it literally works with your facial muscles. It lifts and tightens. It's like going to the gym for your face. So, we think of anti-aging, we think of Botox and injections, but not every woman wants to get injected. Not every woman wants to have their face peeled off. They want to have a more natural approach, and every woman deserves to look beautiful no matter what age you are. And microcurrent gives you that ability because you still have 100% function and mobility with your skin and your facial muscles, but at the same time, it gives you a younger looking appearance. So it softens those fine lines and wrinkles. It helps lift and tighten and tone the facial muscles. So like women will come to me with neck problems, like their neck is saggy or like this whole area is saggy, and the microcurrent just gets those muscles to tighten back up. So I just love being able to help people and just have this natural way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I notice after I have the microcurrent treatment, it's almost like I feel like my cheeks are lifted.
Yeah.
But after a while of not having that, I feel like I have to, make myself exercise my cheeks or something, like, especially when I'm out walking. It's like, you don't want to have Patty's on the call. She always talks about the RBF and, having the smile instead of the resting bitch face. And Jennifer commented that she loves microcurrent treatments.
Yay.
And Patty says, so many model actor friends of mine get facelifts and do Botox regularly. That's crap they're injecting into their skin. That's so true. Yes. So if you can do it naturally, it's so much better. And so I want to move on and ask you your final question, Samantha. How can someone start taking better care of their skin?
The first thing I would recommend is to literally dump out everything from your bathroom cabinet. Most people are using products that are either expired or old because they buy stuff and they don't like the way it feels or the way it smells. So they put it on the back burner and buy something new. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I haven't used this product, so I'll put it on my skin. And then they start using it, and it can be like a really like irritating. It can start causing like skin irritations and skin sensitivities. And then the other thing is, I recommend seeing an esthetician or somebody that is an expert in skincare, because when it comes to products, there's so many options out there. And if you're somebody that's watching these girls on Instagram or YouTube, those girls, they like skin and they have a passion for skin, but they really don't understand how the skin works and functions. So when you put a product on your skin, and I'm going to use acne as an example, a lot of adult women are now suffering from acne, something we're seeing more and more nowadays. When I was in school, it was like only teenagers. Now we have all these adults suffering from acne. So a woman in her 40s suffering from acne will go buy an acne product. That acne product is designed for a teenager who's got extremely oily skin. If this 40-year-old woman has dry skin, she's not only irritating her skin, but she's stripping it of oil and moisture. So not only is she going to make the acne worse, but now she's going to create skin sensitivity and this new term that I like to call dehydrated skin, because she's pulling everything, like all the moisture and all the oil out of the skin. So she's creating more damage. So that's the problem with skincare. A lot of people try and self-correct, and they really need somebody to help them, because I can treat their acne and hydrate their skin and really help them, so that way everything's balanced at the same time, because I understand how the skin works. I understand ingredients, and I understand the different chemicals and the different ways that the skin can function once you put something on it.
Mm-hmm. And because I know you as my sister, I know that you're a huge skin nerd, and that's someone that I think we all need to go and see, is someone who is a nerd in their field, because they have done the research, they've practiced on their own skin and know what's right and what's wrong. And Paula has a question. Are microcurrent treatments the same as ultrasound, or is it different?
It's different. Ultrasound uses an ultrasound wave. Those are more for helping products penetrate into the skin, whereas microcurrent, it uses like a microamp, and it uses electromagnetic current to stimulate the facial muscle, so it'll start to lift and tighten. So I like to talk about it as we go to the gym and we lift weights, and then eventually over time, after lifting weights for several weeks, we start to notice that muscle tone. So microcurrent is doing the same thing to our face. It's teaching our muscles how to start tightening up, so we do get that facial tone and the lifting appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good question, Paula.
Yes.
Yeah, and Patty says so many of us are dehydrated. It's so true. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Samantha. Is there anything else that you want to share before we move on to Valerie?
I know I just want to offer that if anybody is interested, I am offering a free 30-minute virtual consultation. I know not everybody can come into Oak Brook to my treatment room, so I can either see you in my treatment room or virtually. So I'm happy to share that with everybody on the call today.
Great. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you, Sabrina.
All right, let me unmute Valerie. Did you unmute yourself, or? Oh, there we go.
I have to do it.
I'm like, I can't do it. Okay, so let me introduce Valerie to you. Valerie Ripperger is a doctor of naturopathic medicine. She graduated from National University of Health and Sciences in 2019. She is also a massage therapist, just like me, but she's been doing it for a long time, 25 years, reliving people's physical pain and educating people to achieve optimum health. She grew up on a farm and has a love for animals. She has continued within her profession by offering homeopathic remedies. She enjoys being physically active by running, hiking, biking, swimming, doing yoga, practicing meditation, and loving on her little kitty, Simba. Dr. Valerie is able to assist people all over the world with an alternative approach with their healing journey through telehealth. She has online forms that protect her patients with HIPAA, and also protected video calls and online support, supplement support. Sorry about that. She has a huge toolbox, and the list goes on and on, but I'm just going to list a few that are effective individualized therapy for each unique person. So many alternative therapies that Valerie offers are physical medicine, cold laser, which I'm pretty sure you have to be in person to do that, botanical medicine, vitamins, supplements, homeopathic remedies, and so much more. Please welcome Valerie. So Valerie, tell us a little bit more about you and how you got into the holistic approach to the body and skin.
Yes. Well, Sabrina, thank you so much for putting this all together, because I could not have done it. I couldn't even log in right. So
I know, right?
About Mercury retrograde.
Ooh,
hello.
yeah.
I did my computer. So anyway, I'm nice to meet all of you. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us on this call tonight. This has taken me a journey, quite a while, to actually get to where I'm at. And it probably all started years ago when my grandmother was sick with cancer, and I was med certified, so I could distribute her meds. And I saw the pain and everything that she went through. She chose not to do any chemo or radiation. And she basically said, if you can help one person to not go through what I went through, then I'll know that my death has basically not been in vain. So I had spent years, searching on a way that I could help cancer patients, which is how I got into to be a licensed massage therapist, because I would hit pressure points on her big toe, and she had a brain tumor, and I wouldn't have to give her any morphine every time that I did that. Wow. So I went down the path as a massage therapist, and I couldn't help people the way that I wanted to within my scope of practice. And people kept trying to get me to go to more of an allopathic medical school, and that just wasn't for me, because I do truly believe that there's a place for everybody to play nice in the sandbox, but I had a different approach. And I came across naturopathic medicine. I actually started off in Arizona, and I transferred to Illinois to be closer to my family, because I could see how I wanted to be able to treat people as an entire person, mind, body, and spirit. And I wanted to identify root causes of people's ailments, so that I'm not giving them necessarily supplements just to treat symptoms, but I'm helping them to peel off all of the layers to identify the root cause, so then they're not having to take or spend substantial amount of money every month, even on supplements. So I've enjoyed doing this immensely. And even though this whole COVID-19 thing has started and forced me to focus more on telehealth, I had already been starting that. And that's the beautiful thing. Now I can work with people all over the world because I'm in an unlicensed state. So that's the benefit of doing that.
Yes.
So what brings me here today to talk to you guys about how you can help your skin by healing within.
Yeah, and that's so wonderful that you were able to help your grandmother, and that has led you on this wonderful path to internal healing and body, mind, and spirit. So I want to ask you a few questions now, Valerie. So what are some of the things that I can do, or that anyone on this call can do, to help improve your skin, my skin? I know I just posted a little while ago. We talked a few weeks ago, and I've been experiencing some eczema on my legs. So I called Valerie and I said, what can I do? I took pictures of it, and she gave me some recommendations, and it's starting to clear up, and I'm just completely amazed. So thank you. But so what else can they do for their skin if they're having some skin issues?
So, and we talked a little bit about this, how deep down the rabbit hole do you want me to go? So I'm going to try to be relatively general, because I know each person that's on the call tonight may have a different need. You may be searching for something for anti-aging. You may actually have something of a concern. Maybe it's not necessarily acne. Maybe it's eczema, psoriasis, contact dermatitis, just a rash in one spot. So I'll kind of group everything together. So a lot of things, obviously the number one thing we've already talked about is hydration, right? Water. Drink half of your body weight in ounces of water. Yay, awesome. Drink half of your body weight in water in ounces a day. And if you're working out or you're drinking caffeine, you want to add another cup for every cup that you're drinking of that. That's going to help to really pump up those cells and just make sure that everything is super, super hydrated. Some of the other things that you can do is you want to make sure that your pH balance is well. And that's, you can do that by making sure that you're not eating a lot of acidic foods. As we get older, we lose that acid that is in our stomach. And to help balance that, you can just take a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and put it in about 4 ounces of water, and that'll help to kind of balance that out as well. Sleep is super, super important, not only to get enough sleep, but your body position is just important, because this is one thing I struggle with. I'm a side sleeper, so I wake up in the morning and my face is all smushed, and then sometimes I'll get the creases, in between my breasts. So then you have to finagle pillows and everything. And you can have like a silk or a satin pillowcase that will set a lot better with your skin. You want to make sure that, look at the products that you're taking. Look at what you're putting on your skin. Look at the makeup that you're wearing. Look at the skincare. Make sure that it doesn't have a lot of harsh chemicals of the parabens and sulfates and things like that. You can talk to Samantha, and she can give you some recommendations of some wonderful products that she has available to you guys. Even shampoo, hair care products. You want to be careful of those. And body care, soaps and lotions. Anything, I tell people, anything that you are coming into contact on a daily basis, you want to try to get in its purest form as possible. Hand soap, detergent, those kind of things you want to be aware of so you don't have any reactions to that at all. But some of kind of the basic things that I tell people that they can take is, one thing that I really like is I'll talk about the gut thing. I feel like a couple of these questions come together.
Yeah.
You want to make sure, one thing that's really good is, but it needs to have some things taken with it to really give it that good punch, is collagen. And I've played around with different types of collagens, and I've had my patients play around the powders. It's a hit or miss. And if you want to do the collagen loading, it's tough because sometimes they taste horrible. And if they taste horrible the first time, they're going to taste horrible 3 times a day. So I actually have a medical grade collagen that I really like to use. It's a liquid. And when you're not loading, I take like 1 tablespoon in the morning and 1 tablespoon at night. And I love it. And that seems to help a lot better. I have lost a lot of, like, my hair's thinned out, and I can already notice a difference in my skin because I have an autoimmune condition. And so if I don't drink a lot of water, I get scaly skin on my neck. And no matter how much water that I drink, it didn't seem to get it better. But when I would take the collagen with it, it would help. Now, when you take the collagen, you need to take hyaluronic acid with that, along with vitamin A and vitamin B, and then also saw palmetto. All of those together are like these magnificent anti-aging type of supplements that you can take for the anti-aging. But yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I'll just cut.
Yeah, you could just keep going, right? So, yeah, the collagen, I actually, I found some online, and it's like, it's a powder that you can mix into anything. It doesn't taste like anything. It's also non-GMO. It's, farm raised or whatever the really good stuff is. And I saw it in my pantry today. So when I made my smoothie, I actually put a scoop in there because I know it's really good for your hair and nails and skin. So it's like, oh, well, I'm doing some good for myself today.
There you go.
So the next one is, again, you said, these questions are very similar. What are other factors that, contribute to the appearance of our skin?
So the first one, that's probably one of the biggest one, is what we put in our mouth. So what we eat. There's lots of foods that have inflammatories in them, and that's dairy. Dairy is a huge inflammatory food for a lot of skin conditions, irritants, and even gastrointestinal health. So that's huge. Dairy, wheat, gluten, eggs, sugar, and alcohol. Those are the main ones that if you are struggling with something going on with your skin or even your gut, those are the ones you really want to take a look at and think, okay, should I be continuing eating this? Probably not. So if you can eliminate those, that's going to help. I just wrote down so much, so I'm going to have to glance down at it. Oh, so some other things that could be contributing to that, you could have some sort of a vitamin deficiency. You can have an autoimmune disease, thyroid problems, if you have hypothyroid, hormone problems with your estrogen, cortisol when we're stressed. And that we'll talk about too is super important. You need to make sure that you maintain your stress, because that can irritate the lining in your gastrointestinal tract, create inflammation. So what happens is, actually, I'll just kind of go ahead and slide into my last question, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So in your intestines, we have gap junctions, right? So this is what they should look like. When you have what is called a leaky gut, you have all of these openings. And so you have all of these food particles that are now going through your intestinal wall and permeating into your bloodstream. And that's adding and creating systemic inflammation in your body. So that's going straight to your skin. It's removing not the dermal layers, but it's not allowing the protective layers to do its job. So it's causing more irritation there. It's adding to depression. It's adding to joint pain and a lot of autoimmune diseases. So that's why we talk about how important it is to heal the gut. So I tell people, you want to make sure that you have a really good probiotic. So I'm going to show a little example for you guys. So this is one that I take. I struggled with finding probiotics for my patients because I wanted 3 things for them. I wanted a probiotic, a prebiotic, and a digestive enzyme. And I was having to find like 3 different products, very expensive for them. And I've been taking this, and I finally found a plant-based one that is a probiotic, prebiotic, and digestive enzyme. So the pro and the pre basically is putting good bacteria into your gut, and it's closing up those gap junctions so that you no longer have that systemic inflammation. So I'm going to kind of show an example. So all of this processed food that we eat, and when we cook food, we lose the important enzymes in it, right? So this is chocolate pudding, right? So you see how kind of clumpy that all is. And that's, it's a lot of work for our body to break that down. So I'm going to take this little enzyme and I'm just going to put it in there. And probably within maybe less than a minute, I'm just going to stir this up. This digestive enzyme is going to break all of this down, so then it does all the hard work and our body doesn't need to work that hard, and it breaks all of this food down so that our body can absorb it. So
Magid said, LOL. That's a really cool experiment, Valerie. I've never thought about putting I always wonder if the digestive enzymes are.
So I'll show you why they work. Because when I'm done with this, it's going to look like milk, right?
Yeah.
But so the other thing with healing your intestines, so this is about done. Okay, wow. So let's see.
Huh.
You see how that just looks like milk now?
Yeah.
That's basically what the digestive enzymes, what they do in your intestines. They make it so that your body doesn't have to work so hard, and they're getting all the nutrients that it needs. And the other important thing too is that those things are super important, but you want to make sure that you have, if you have an autoimmune disease, you want to make sure that you have something called a biofilm disruptor. And what that means is that in our gut, so this is like our intestines, right? And there's this film. So this arm is like the film that's on the inside of our intestines, but in between here is hidden bacteria and viruses and things that are causing all of this inflammation. So you need something to basically break this up, grab onto it, and allow the body to basically dissipate it. So the one thing, again, is the apple cider vinegar, but you use charcoal to act as a binder to grab onto that and dissipate that out in the body. So those things together are probably the best things that you can do to heal your gut, along with watching what you eat, exercising, reducing the amount of stress that you have in your life, and just making sure you're hydrated. So all of those things put together really, really will help to heal your gut.
Yes, and that brings me to what I want to talk about as well. as the licensed massage therapist and speaker, I share simple self-care techniques. And when you talk about how stress can affect your internals, your externals, it's amazing what you can do for yourself by practicing little simple self-care techniques like breathing. Most people breathe wrong. They breathe very shallow into their upper chest, and that's why their shoulders, they're walking around with their shoulders way up into their ears. Well, if you slow your breath down and you take full breaths like into your lower lungs, expand your rib cage, expand your abdomen on the inhale, and hold it, and then you exhale nice and slow and deeply, you can relax your body, you can lower that cortisol level, and you can get rid of that fight or flight, like I'm always on, where am I going? No, you're not always on. There has to be time where you're relaxing and you're slowing down and you're going to sleep. So but just by practicing the 4-7-8 breath is the one I like to teach. You're breathing in for a count of 4. You're holding that breath for a count of 7. And then you're exhaling for a count of 8. And when you do that long exhale, that's what helps to relax you. And once you start practicing that, you can start to feel your heart rate slow down on the exhale. So you can practice breathing in for a count of 4 through your nose, holding it for a count of 7, and then exhaling slowly and fully out of your mouth. And if you want, you can put your hand on your heart, making sure that your posture is good, and just sort of close your eyes and relax and feel the heart rate slow down. So it's really interesting. I want to make sure that I also say when you are first breathing fully and mindfully to be seated or laying down, because you can experience a lightheaded or dizziness. And so so the breathing, the hydration, fixing your posture, and Valerie mentioned sleeping, how we are side sleepers, get a good pillow, have lots of supportive pillows, so that you have good posture even when you are sleeping. So yes, practicing simple self-care. Also, what Valerie recommended, what you put in your body and what you put on your body, also is what Samantha recommended too. You have to make sure that you choose a really good esthetician that's a nerd. And for those of you that are watching the recording, Samantha had to jump off because she worked all day today and her kids were with a babysitter, and so she wants to make sure that she's present for them. So she had to jump off early to be present with her children tonight, but I'm just so glad that she was able to get on and share her expertise and knowledge with us. But the combination of Valerie, Samantha, and I just think is a wonderful combination, and that's why I wanted to host this meeting tonight. So thank you all for being here. Oh wait, there was a question. So do you suggest taking the activated charcoal with apple cider vinegar? That's for Valerie. And then, so
yes,
yeah, go ahead.
I would take the 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and put it in at least 4 ounces of water. You don't want to drink it straight because it can break down the enamel in your teeth and just be too acidic. So I know it's not the best tasting. I do it.
I do it too now.
Yeah, if you just put it in, like maybe 4 ounces, a couple chugs, and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, and then for me, how long do you suggest practicing the breathing technique? Paula, you can take 1 to 3 breaths or longer, depending on how stressed or how anxious or how emotional you're feeling. The more that you practice the deeper, fuller, mindful breaths, the calmer you will become. And also, the more that you practice it, you'll be able to calm yourself down much quicker. So just sort of listen to your body and see what it needs. And 1 to 3 breaths can be all it needs to calm down. And if you are feeling really stressed, maybe just shut off all the devices and lay down for a few minutes, or put on a guided meditation and just listen to them guide you through a breathing technique or a relaxation technique. So that's a good question. Thank you, Paula. And Magid says, what's the protocol to get rid of your eczema?
So, red pill, blue pill. So a lot of it is food. So food is a huge irritant. So that's irritating. So you want to probably eliminate a lot of the inflammatory foods. We talked about the dairy, wheat, gluten, eggs, alcohol. Those are all inflammatory foods. And again, talk about focusing on healing the gut. So you want to make sure that you have a good supplement that's a good pro digestive enzyme. And if you have an autoimmune disease and you want to take a step farther and have a good biofilm disruptor, and make sure that you have a good binder to grab onto that stuff and pull it out. So charcoal is always good to take. You don't want to necessarily take it on a ongoing basis, but those are really good. They have some good topicals that you can use. Did the Candida, or which one was it that I had you use, Sabrina? Topically, which one did you put?
Oh, calendula.
Oh, calendula. Yeah.
Or calendula. Okay.
You were close.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong all this time.
Yeah, topically, that's good to put on it. Or sometimes I'll also recommend colloidal silver, so then it'll help externally, but then you want to focus going from the basically inside out.
Yes.
Good question.
Yeah. And so I started doing the apple cider vinegar that you recommended once a day. And I just maybe like 3 or 4 days ago, I received the colloidal silver. So I've been taking at least 2 teaspoons a day or something, like morning and night. Or if I remember, I might take it a third time. And what is it called? Calendula?
Oh, calendula?
Calendula. So I've been putting that on topically. And yeah, just over the last few days, it's totally cleared up, and I'm just like I'm completely amazed. So I appreciate the information, and I am dairy free, and I've been gluten free for a while, and I know Paula knows that too, because she's also dairy and gluten free. But I know Samantha talks about that as well, that once you start to take away those inflammatory foods, then you can start to heal your skin. People with rosacea, where they have those rosy cheeks all the time, take away those foods, and then suddenly it clears up. It's amazing. So I just want to wrap up, and if anyone has any other questions before we close out, go ahead and either unmute or type in the chat. But I want to include here for all of you my guided breathing video that I put together. So it walks you through the 4-7-8 breath. So I want to share that with you. And we're recording it, so I can share the recording with you as well. And if there's no further questions, is there anything more that you have for the audience, Valerie?
If anyone is interested, I do a comprehensive consultation where I literally go through every aspect of your life. I mean, sleep, hydration, meditation, stress, nutrition, and whatever your main concerns are. I spend a total of about 5 hours. By the time I review everything and we talk on the phone, I'm offering $75 off on the comprehensive consultation. But we just have to contact me within at least 48 hours. If you want to just send me a message through Facebook Messenger and just say, hey, I'm interested, we can set up a free phone meet and greet and kind of talk about whatever your main concerns are.
Thank you, Valerie. And thank you all for being here. And if you're watching it while, afterwards during the recording, make sure to reach out to me, to Valerie, and to Samantha with questions. And of course, I will be following up with the links to get a hold of us, tagging us on Facebook, and other ways to connect with us. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and we will see you and connect with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.